Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second season of Tell Me Dad. In this season, we will be asking my dad all questions that we have about life. These can be questions about career, personal development, or relationships, or whatever we can think of. So if you're interested in what my dad has to share this time, then stay tuned. Hello, Dad.
Hi, Paul. How's it going?
Very good, very good. How are you?
Well, not bad at all. I'm recovering from our short trip to Vienna, which was
Yeah,
beautiful. Thanks again for this beautiful Christmas present. It was great. It's just a beautiful town. Vienna offers a lot. It's clean. It's beautiful buildings. It very good food. Very good food. It's very tempting every day.
yeah,
Um, they have these beautiful cafes. Uh, I mean, your mom had to have a piece of Sacher cake.
sure.
The famous Sacher Hotel. So we went there, paid 11 euros per piece. That
Yeah,
was quite expensive for such a little piece of cake. But anyway, I mean, these are the things that you just have to do. And we had otherwise a great time. Just fantastic. We did a couple of tours, and we had a beautiful hotel. This hotel, Biedermeier. This is, I mean, I really can recommend that hotel. It's a 4 star, but the service that we received was very close to 5 star. They
very good.
e- even even between the hours, between cleaning and so they stopped by. They asked if you wanted to have some more coffee or this or that or what have you. It was just great. Was just a good choice, very good choice. Okay,
Very
so
good. Glad you
that
enjoyed.
was
Glad you
Vienna.
enjoyed.
In two weeks,
Yeah.
it's going to be Dublin again. So your
Yeah.
mom is pretty happy about that. So to see you
Yeah.
again, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Looking forward to it too. Yeah. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
So what did you think of today?
Yeah. Interesting question. It came to me yesterday, so it is quite
Oops.
spontaneous. Came to me
Uh-huh.
yesterday. Yeah. Um, question I have for you today is: what is a greater pain in life? The pain of change, or the pain of regret?
Oh, you always have questions that I have
Yeah.
to that I have to think twice. Uh, I mean, first I would say um it always depends on the case.
Yeah.
It's uh, pain or regret.
Or the pain of change, or the
The
pain of
pain of
regret. Yeah.
change, the pain of change. Yeah, change does not necessarily has to be connected with pain.
Hmm.
Because if you move to another country, I still remember when I moved to Brazil. I mean, there was no pain at all. I mean, for me, it was just looking forward. you
Yeah.
Um, Regret is something that, well, it depends on your personality. If you let really pain come up, I mean, you have to be above that somehow. I mean, change, uh, regret is, of course, I regret a few things that I have done in life. But
For example.
well, as you know, I got married very young,
Yeah.
very very young, and I regret that. But especially because that marriage didn't really work out very well. Especially, it was a marriage of more than 20 years, and the last 10 years they were really really tough. But I mean, first you try to make the best out of it. You try to fix this and that, and you try to be a very understanding partner, and you actually, how should I say that, you um, you sacrifice a lot of your own personality, to meet your partner's expectations. But you, at the end of the day, you get to a stage. Well, not in every case, but in this particular case, at the end of the days, I got to a stage where I realized that it's just worthless. It's just no. You can do whatever you want. It's going to be wrong. It's going to be always wrong. Every day, it's going to be wrong. And and the mistake was made by myself 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I should have never married with, I think it was the age of 22, so at your age,
Yeah.
actually. That was, well, you see, as a young man, and you meet a young lady, young girl, and she's super pretty, and everybody is kind of jealous, because you are the one that she picked, and blah, blah. So you kind of slip into that, and all of a sudden you are standing in front of a priest, and you say yes. Um, and the reason why I was married for such a long time was because I went with her to the United States, and then I went with her to Brazil, and so I was always busy from a professional point of view, great job and career and this and that, what have you. And she was happy because she spent time with ladies that were in a similar situation and at the country clubs, and so it was a good life. So the
Yeah.
good life compensated for the critical relationship. So, but at the end of the day, I cut the line. Um, and I actually regret this. And it was connected with some kind of pain. But whenever this feeling of pain came up, I I kind of pushed it down because in situations like this, my brain goes to, Willie, you have to function now.
Hmm.
Don't let yourself down. You have to function now. You have to do the right. You have to make the right decisions to so both parties get out of that uh, with the least damage. Well, least damage. That's easy saying because I gave up my the house and car and money and everything, but the what I gained was complete freedom.
Yeah.
Complete freedom, and I could start my life from scratch. So, yeah, that was actually pain that resulted from that I regret to get married so young.
Yeah.
But my personality is actually that I fight against this pain. I'm not looking for pain, and I enjoy pain for a whole week.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, there are people in this world. They sit down there and they talk about their shit. And
Yeah.
crying and this and that. These people. I mean, this is no good. This is no good. It doesn't help other people. It doesn't help yourself. And so. The pain, if you want to call it like that, the pain that I had was always on a level that I could easily handle.
Hmm.
So and now uh, pain of change, pain of change. Well, I had quite a few changes in my life.
Yeah.
Um, Whether it was moving from one country to another, or I had once this critical situation at this company. I was CEO, and I had a real problem with the head of the board of directors, the chairman of the board of directors, and at the end of the day, it resulted into that I left the company that I was more than 20 years with, and that I actually helped build up. Because when I started with this company, it was a rather small company. When I left the company, it was the world market leader for this type of machine tool. And I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time with and for the company. And when you get into a situation um, that results into a well, either you stay here and you have to crawl, or you I mean, lift up your hat and walk out here, and
Yeah.
just fuck the guy. But you see, so I decided to walk out to well, because if I wouldn't have done that at the time, I would have a problem with shaving myself in the morning,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I would have to look at that guy,
Yeah.
that broke down because some other guy, based on his power of position,
Yeah.
he broke you down. So this is something that I didn't accept. It was painful. It was painful because 20 years of my life were gone. Were gone. I had to start from scratch. I didn't even have a new job.
Yeah.
So I started from scratch. But on the other hand, um, it was quite a challenge. It was quite a challenge. First of all, I had my education. I had my experience based on starting as a design engineer, walking up or working up my career, being in sales for many years, and then ending up in the management. So, and when you walk this way, you gain a lot of experience. And this experience that I had was of tremendous value for other companies at that time. It was a
Yeah.
very good market for leaders, for people that had that type of experience. Speaking several languages and being in this many departments in a company, and having management experience. So after that, it took me quite a while. It was painful. It was painful, and it was not easy to handle. But again, my brain, there is that lever. I switch from being the guy that sits down and cry to be the guy head up and function. You have to make the right decisions now. So
Yeah.
I made the right decisions. I worked for a company 2 years, a small machine tool company. They had a big problem. I solved this company. 2 years they were in business again, and then I started my own business. Also, this was quite a change. But um, okay, if I would have failed
Yeah.
with my own business, that would have been extremely painful, because the alternative was um, being out of money for the next, I don't know, 10 years, at least,
Yeah.
or moving to Paris and getting a place under one of these bridges and
Yeah.
starting a career as clochard.
Yeah.
Um, but it worked out, as you know, and we built up a beautiful little company, and which I sold to these Americans, and I was member of their board of directors. And these were all changes, but in a very positive way.
Yeah.
And so after that, I I didn't have a big change in my life that was kind of painful. Okay, one thing I regret is that I didn't go to a doctor every year and make a complete
Yeah.
complete checkup,
Yeah.
including all blood values, and I haven't done that. I have done a checkup, a standard checkup. Well, you're a healthy guy, and that's it. And as you know, 2.5 years ago, or two years ago, actually, 2 years ago, my doctor checked that PSA value, and
Yeah.
and they discovered cancer of prostate. So this is something that I really regret. So, if I would have gone to a doctor and they would have discovered that 1 year earlier, um, the therapy that I went through would not have been that painful. You know what
Yeah.
I went through last year, the year before, and last year, starting from operation to all kind of therapies and chemotherapy and so on. You know, it was tough, but um, I never had the feeling of pain. You know, I
Yeah.
always was looking forward, and you and your mom, you were pretty good soldiers on my side. You know, giving me a lot of strength and energy, and so I was ready for that battle. You know, and today, according to the doctors, I'm in a very good position, and
Yeah.
uh, it looks like that there are still many years to come. Um, so this is something that I regret that I didn't do that, and the pain was on a quite high level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, for example, let's say you were, I don't know, let's say 30 years old again, and maybe you started a different career than machine tooling before.
Mm.
Um, and then at 30 years old, you realize, I want to go into machine tooling or I want to become an engineer. Would you take that change at 30 years old, going through education? Um, or would you continue your career with the risk that you would regret it a few years later?
Well, that's a good question. But my philosophy is do what you want to do and what you like to do. This is very important because if you do things that you are not convinced of, you're going to regret it.
Yeah.
Definitely. The chance to regret and to fail is extremely high. You know,
Yeah.
I met a guy once at the airport in Cologne. He was a consultant at that time. He was in his mid 60s. And he said, well, I just stopped my professional career. I do some consulting here and there, but I'm going to university again. I'm going to study art
Yeah.
because this is actually what I always wanted to do. You know, so and he was a professional engineer and he was a
Yeah.
pretty good one. But he said I always wanted to get into art and now I have a good financial background and I can afford to do that at 65, you know. So um, but this is not really the way you should do that because the years to come for him um, and at that age actually um, yeah, I'm not sure when he finishes his education if he can really
Yeah.
enjoy that, you know, because but at the age of 30, there is still time enough, you know. I mean, okay, you should not start with 30. You should not start an apprenticeship, you know, to become I don't know what, a bricklayer or
Yeah.
a mechanic or something like this. I mean, with 30, you should have an education before that, and you should finish an education before
Yeah.
that. Even if you say, well, okay, it's nice, but it's probably not really what I want to do my whole life. ag- Regardless, finish it,
Yeah.
get your certificate. this,
Yeah.
this is very important because um, whatever you end up at the end of the day, who knows. But important is always you have to show the world that you finish what you start.
Yeah.
This is very important. Okay, these days now, to start a new education with 30 is rather difficult because a lot of companies they start to lay off people with 55. You know, they send them they
Yeah.
have their pension plan and they say, well, the guy is too old for that job. You know, And well, for some jobs, I mean, you are really too old with 55 or 60, you know. But again, the best way, of course, is before you do something like that, regret what you did in the past and start something new. Before you get into a situation like this, always ask yourself on kind of a weekly basis, am I on the right track? Am I doing really, or do I want to do what I'm doing? Am I
Yeah.
enjoying what I'm doing? You see, this is very important. Um, in your particular case now with 23, you are still young and you have an education as a bachelor of business administration, which offers you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
You know, with this
Yeah.
education is not really focused on
Yeah.
a special product or on a special business, or it's, you see, business administration, you can apply that from hospital to shipyards, to airports, to airlines, to the automotive industry. So you are in a very privileged position. You know,
Yeah.
you can actually uh, rest back and look what the world offers to you. And this is something that you should do on a regular basis anyway at your age. You know, look
Yeah.
what's on the market, and talk to some people once in a while. You know, this is important. So um, to regret something, to get back to your question, to regret something with 30 is, yes, I mean, if you are very unhappy and you don't like what you're doing, start something new.
Yeah.
Because priority one is you got to be happy. You see, this life was given to you to become happy and not to sit down in a corner and
Yeah.
cry yourself to death. You know, so you got to be happy. And people, they want to have contact with happy people, you
Yeah.
know, and not with people that are, I mean, face down all day. And um, but important is, of course, to make the right decisions before the age of 30. And I think you made the right decision. You have so much flexibility.
Sure.
And what business you end up at the end of the day, whether it's a software business or I don't know what, you know, there are so many opportunities that just wait, just look around,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
one of these days you meet the right people at the right time, at the right place. Because to be successful in life, to make career, you got to meet the right people. You got to meet the right people at the right time, at the right place, and you have to get the right offer. You cannot force that. You
Yeah.
see, I have met people in my life. The worst case that I can talk about is this one guy. He was a he was he had a doctor degree in engineering. No,
Yeah.
in physics.
Yeah.
A doctor degree in physics, and he was he had an engineering degree in mechanical engineering, and he was standing in a job in a shop at a lathe, at a CNC lathe, and he was producing the same part day every day after day. Um, and he applied for a job in my company, and he said, "Well, I have to get out of that." You know? And I said, basically, I'd love to hire you because, from an educational point of view, you are absolutely overqualified. You know, but the problem that I have is that if I put you in between these guys that I have in the shop, because I was looking for a shop manager,
Yeah.
the guys that I have in the shop, they're going to eat you up. They're going to eat you up the first day, they spit you out the next day. Because this is just what they are waiting for, a guy that has a doctor degree, an engineering degree, telling them what to do. So
Yeah.
it's not going to work. As much as would love to hire you. Um, I just can't do that, you know. So that was actually the worst case. That guy actually made several times in his life the wrong decision. You know, he just was wrong with his decisions, um, and he told me about his private life. Yeah, that he met the woman of his life, and he just moved to her, and she has 5 kids. You know, and you see that
Yeah.
proved again that guy is not making the right decisions because he is focused on other people and he's not focused on himself, and that leads you into these situations. So anyway, um, I think I think the the pain from regret is bigger
Yeah.
than pain from change,
Yeah.
because change you can reconsider and you can make another decision, you know, and that's it, you know, and you can start from scratch. But if something happened in your life that you regret, it's past,
Yeah.
and it always sticks in your head. And depending on how sensitive you are, it can really give you a hard time from an emotional point of view. You know, whether it is a marriage or whether it's a relationship or um, I know people that have been working for a company extremely happy, being in a comfort zone to some extent, but happy. You know,
Yeah.
they had their car, they had their apartment, girlfriend, and they were happy. And then they got the idea to get into this world and look for a CEO position, you know.
Yeah.
And you see, if you are not the right person for that, and if you don't have the right experience, you're going to fail. And I have seen people fail that were just not qualified, and they were standing in front of me and they were crying. They said, "Well, um, I made I made the mistake of my life. I made the mistake of my life." I still remember one guy, this chairman of the board that I was talking about before. He was very rude person, you know. Um, when he needed a new assistant, he went to University of Aachen because he came from University of Aachen, and they had a laboratory for machine tools.
Yeah.
And he always picked the guys that had already an engineering degree and they were working on their doctor's degree. And he picked these guys. He promised them, heaven on earth. You know,
Yeah.
so I still remember 2 guys. They were married both, and they also had already 2 kids. They joined our company and they trusted him really. I mean, fully. And after 1 year, he just burned them out. You know, they were
Yeah.
burned out. There were one guy. He was close to suicide. He was close
Really?
to suicide.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was close to suicide. I still remember that. He was standing in front of me. He was crying. He said he made the mistake of his life. You know, and and to go back to university now to finish his doctor's degree is kind of difficult because he has to find a professor that takes him and gives him a chance to
Yeah.
make his to finish his doctor degree. And on the other hand, he said, my family got used to the money now. And this
Yeah.
is another thing, you know. I cannot tell them we bought an apartment and we moved into that apartment and I have monthly payments now. And that guy was done. That guy was absolutely done. So um, and he he realized that he made the wrong decision, you know. So
Yeah.
big regret, of course, but you can't change it. But it was past. It was past. You had no option of turning the clock back. So I think the pain of regret is much heavier than the pain of a change. Yeah, okay, change. You make a change. You go into another country. You work there for 6 months. You realize, well, that's not really what I want to do, and well, you go on, you move somewhere else, So yeah, it's kind of painful because you might lose some money, or you might even lose some good, in quotation marks, some good friends that you build up a relationship with. But on the other hand, life goes on, and you always have to look forward. And change is you can handle that always
Sure.
by making a new decision. But the past, a mistake that you made in the past, and how painful it was, this is heavy, This is
Yeah.
so. From personal experience, I would say the pain that I've experienced, but pain in quotation marks, because I always took care of that. The pain was not building up to something that went too deep under my skin.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, if I compare that to the pain of changes that I had in my life, yeah, when I broke up my first marriage, it was painful. But on the other hand, it was connected with um, a focus that had for my future.
Yeah.
I wanted to be free to make my own decision. To build up a new life. And that compensated a lot for that pain that I had. So. I'd say the pain that you get from regrets is certainly heavier than from change. I mean,
Yeah.
change. The changes that I have made in my life, they have not really created pain.
Yeah.
They have created actually positive feelings. When I still remember when I built up these two service companies, one in India and one in Thailand. Well, I knew at the time both countries very well from my business experience, but building up a company in these countries from scratch, I mean, that was not easy, but there was quite a change in my life,
Yeah.
to to from a director in a company to a kind of an entrepreneur, to build up companies. This is something very special, And um, the first that you have to learn is to build up safe ground. That means you have to find some good lawyers that kind of guide you through this whole process. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. You see, the changes that I had in my life always created a feeling of satisfaction when the job was done. I still remember, or I still can see today, both companies that I started, the one in Thailand and the one in India, they are gold mines. They
Yeah.
are really gold mines. They are still in operation, making money. They have been grown. They have tripled or even more their size, and they are managed by very good people. And it's good to see that. It's good to see
Yeah.
that. Well, I was not the guy that took the profit of this venture, unfortunately, but at least I proved to myself that I was capable of managing a situation like this. I always say what other people can do and what other people can achieve, well, to a certain extent, I can do that too.
Yeah.
And what makes the big difference to other people is that they have met the right person at the right time with the right money You
Yeah.
know, look at Elon Musk. You know, I mean, when he started, I mean, the guy didn't have any money. He built up
Yeah.
his life, his business with money from other people. And he met people that said, well, okay, well, I go along. Here, I give you 10 million bucks and
Yeah.
double or triple it, you know. So this is kind of easy, you know. When I started my own business, I had to apply for a loan of 800,000
Yeah.
Deutschmarks at the time, and that was kind of painful.
Yeah. Sure.
But you see, it all the person itself, every person, if he really fights for it, he can do anything he wants. But it always depends on the people that you meet, the opportunities that you have in your life. Um, and if you have made money once, if you have made your first 10 or 20 million once,
Yeah.
it is kind of easy to build up new businesses.
Yeah.
You know, the people I worked with, the people I worked with in the United States when I was in their board of directors, each one of them, um, they have made millions only by investing or buying companies that were kind of weak from a financial point of view, but still had a good opportunity to build up additional market segments or a certain potential of growth. And they invested their money in these companies, and within 5 years, they tripled, at least tripled the value of these companies.
Yeah.
And so this is money that you cannot make when you are an employee. It's just impossible. You have to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a businessman, you have to be an investor, and you have to be aware that um, some investments can fail,
Sure.
and that's also painful. But
Yeah.
if you have 50 millions in your bank and you lose 2 millions, okay, life
Yeah.
goes on, you know, and then you jump on the next opportunity. I still remember these guys. They bought a a company in state of Washington. It was at the time the biggest tent renting company in the United States.
Yeah.
And tents, not the little tents that you do camping, you know, that you need for your vacation. They were they were renting tents for big events, you know, for big events, for festivals, and I mean, to rent a tent, they had to build it up. They have to break it down again, and the renting fee, and it stands there for like a month. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, you know. And they bought that company that was operating in the whole United States. They bought that company for 10 millions, and they got the word of honor from the management, three guys from the management, that they would stick with the company for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
And after 1 year, the three guys left and built up their own company, new company, same business right next door. You
Yeah.
know, so they lost 10 million. They
Yeah.
lost 10 within 1 year. That company went broke. They didn't get one order because
Yeah.
these three guys had their customer list, they started business from scratch, but with the information that they had, with the know-how that they had, with the contacts that they had, it was kind of easy to drive their old company out of business, you know. So and then I talked to these guys. I said, "Well, you invested $10 million. That must be very painful for you." And they said, "Well, uh, painful to some extent, but this is something you have to count on. You
Yeah.
know, people are like that." And um, we learned our lesson, because next time we have to be more careful. Next
Yeah.
time, these guys, if we do that again, they have to sign documents that really nails them down for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And so that's. But again, to start something is always difficult. To find your way when you are young, to find your way is not easy, but it's very exciting. Very
Yeah.
exciting, you know. Again, regretting something you cannot change. It's past. It
Yeah.
has happened. It's always there. You just have to learn to get along with these thoughts in your head. And sometimes it's painful, very painful. But change, besides being sick or ill,
Yeah.
is something
Yeah.
different, but in your professional life, changes, they can be very exciting. They can be very, I mean, it's I always was looking forward to the next step, the next step in my career and the change that I have to go through.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I can tell you regarding this question.
Yeah.
Um, that's it.
That was fun. Yeah. That was fun.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but you see, with these questions, they make you think,
Yeah.
right now, I mean, I'm talking to you and I'm explaining my point of view,
Yeah.
but in the back of my head,
Yeah.
I'm digging into in the past,
Yeah.
and it makes me think, and I probably will have the whole day now thinking about what do I really regret in
Yeah.
my life. But it's probably only one or two things
Yeah.
that have happened in my life that I really regret. Otherwise, the changes that I have made to my life,
Yeah.
and thanks God, I was in a lucky position that I could actually make the changes, that I
Yeah.
could decide. Um, uh, they were not really involved with it. There was not really any pain involved.
Yeah. Very good.
So, well, I'm looking forward when you're gonna make your next decision.
Yeah.
If that's gonna be. But I know it's not gonna be painful. It's with you.
No.
You are a very positive person.
Yeah.
When you make a change, you gonna be a highly motivated person that takes that challenge and that's good. And that's good. That is the only
Yeah.
way to have fun. It's alrighty. But I talked to your mom. I'm still wondering what kind of business you're gonna end up to at the end of the day. But uh, regardless what it is, the type of business is not really that important, because you are a management person.
Yeah.
You want to lead a company. You want to make big changes. You don't want to calculate whether this bolt that has been used can be downsized one size smaller, and the company can save by doing that $25 a year. So this is not your world. This
Yeah.
is just too small thinking. This is you want to be in a position that if you say no, if we install this ERP system, or if we do this and that, or if you gonna go into this market here, how can we double the size of the company?
Yeah.
So this is going to be your life in the future. I know it. I know it. I can actually see it in front of me. You're going to do that,
Perfect. Yeah.
and I'm kind of happy and thankful that I can be kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Just from a distance, of course, but to watch that is for me it's very exciting. All right,
Yeah.
but before that, you probably need another year to get some experience, to
Sure.
meet some more people, to kind of optimize yourself a little bit. This is also very important.
Yeah.
Anyway, Okay, son, it was a good question.
Yeah,
Super
it was a lot
question.
of fun.
It was fun. It is always fun.
Yeah,
This podcast was the one of the best ideas that you ever had.
yeah,
It's and I think this podcast is very special. It brings you and I brings us
yeah,
much more together. And you probably know, since we started that, you probably know more about me than
yeah,
you knew before.
yeah. Of course.
All right, so I would say we call it a day.
Yeah,
You're gonna have some fun and say hello to your friends. And in 2 weeks,
you're gonna be here.
we're gonna be there. And we made already a reservation at the Morrison Grill. They have a charcoal grill in the
Yeah.
restaurant. Can you imagine that? So they claim that they have the best steaks in town. So
Well, let's find out.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Okay, Sam, take care. All the
And you.
best, and talk to you next time.
See you next time. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye.
Thank you everyone for listening to this episode. If you're interested in what my dad has to share next time, then make sure to tune in again next week. And if you have any questions that you want my dad to answer, then please feel free to send them to us. Hope to see you next week. Bye bye.